Today I've been pondering two different main concepts, and that is why people are so afraid of commitment, not just to relationships, but to places or things or jobs that they're doing or projects that they're on. And then the other thing that I've been pondering today is what is my responsibility, provided my knowledge, provided my capabilities, provided my resources, to give back to the people and to give back to society. Now, sometimes it's hard to think about what to give back to a society that is hell bent on governing people to the extreme, that want to be free. It's almost like the current climate and the environment that we are in as far as a society and a species is, and I'm speaking metaphorically now, but it's almost like you're the lion. And when you're a lion, the few that are lions, the group and the pack of hyenas want you to pretend to be a house cat. They want you to pretend not to be a lion. And so there are a pack of hyenas trying to brainwash you through the matrix scams that you are not a lion, but you are a lion. And so why does this pack of hyenas, why do these people that want us to be excessively governed, excessively controlled, what is it about them that wants the lions to not be lions? Well, the hyenas don't want the lions to be a lion because the lions become the competent go-getters, unstoppable machines and animals that will actually get the job done. Lions don't stop until the hunt is over, right? Have you guys ever seen that video where there's this lion and there's a lioness, and the lioness and the other, well, there's multiple lionesses, and there's this crowd, this herd of antelope or whatever, just flying on by. And the lionesses are carefully waiting, carefully just trying to wait for the attack and trying to pick out just the right one. And then you have the male lion that shows up out of nowhere and just, boom, goes right into the herd, grabs the antelope by the throat, and drags it over to the lionesses, and just shows that, like, you just got to get the job done. Just do it. And it was a funny representation of how males and females think sometimes, even in the animal kingdom. Sometimes the females want to be a bit more cautious, a little bit more covert in their attacks, and lionesses are not always like this, right? They're not. But then you have the male lion that just has, the testicles to just go out there in the middle of the herd and just grab one by the throat and take it back. And a lot of the times, your competence is going to be viewed in such a way as a fear response to most others. Most others are going to fear your competence when you do become competent. And I think that's one of the other reasons why people are afraid to commit to things nowadays. It's not just that fear of emptiness or that fear that the thing that you commit to will go wrong. It's that you will fail trying to build something that you would love to create. And I think that's one of the reasons why people are so afraid to commit. There's not a lot of loyalty out here anymore. Loyalty is very scarce. And it's hard to discern when someone is actually wanting to be loyal or not. Because a lot of the times people can talk a lot, but how they perform I rarely, like, I can get the energy when I'm speaking to somebody, when I'm interacting with someone. I can get the energy and I can get the vibes of what they're about pretty easily. I can get that, but energy can lie. I know that there are other YouTubers and spiritual people that follow Christ that say energy doesn't lie, but I genuinely think that energy can lie because part of any kind of sales or any kind of seduction, part of it is deceiving in some degree. It's like showing that you understand the person without always showing your cards, and that's a skill that you must be able to have if you are to be competent, because you're going to learn really quick in this world that a lot of the times people will hold their cards and they will try to deceive you. And by nature, women are deceivers. It's in their nature. They're not going to overtly do anything. And this isn't to say that they're not capable of doing things that are overt. It's actually likely the case that they are. In fact, I have met many females in my life that I would say I've met about 10 to 20, let's say, that have a high intellect level, but they're so nervous about how other people will view them that they don't come out and share their intellect, or they don't come out and share. It's like Hermione Granger from Harry Potter. If Hermione didn't actually express herself, it's like you're smart. You're one of the smartest people that I know, and yet you're dumbing yourself down for the sake of not wanting to rock the boat. That's silly. That's super silly. What are you thinking? Now, before we go on with this message, I want to make sure that everybody is under the awareness that the group session for this weekend, the sign up cap is tomorrow evening. So if you want to sign up for that, that's the all male session. Please do so. For all of the male and female group sessions next weekend, that's still going on. That's still open enrollment. So feel free to sign up there. And you can get more information about that at Regal Change Academy in the link in the description box below. You'll see the title for Regal Change Academy, and you can sign up there and email me if you want to enroll. Now, with that being said, let's go on with the topic for today. So, really, what you want to become is someone that is untamable by pursuing excellence, right? You don't want to become untamable in a excessively savage way, in a way that demonstrates that you are actually not incompetent, that you are actually an idiot pretending to be so. This is why I say be a sophisticated savage in today's day and age. It's because you have a responsibility as a person that wants to bring something new to the table, that has someone that is someone that wants to bring new ideas, new ways of thinking. You want to bring loyalty back. You have a certain kind of standard an example that you're going to need to set. And if you cannot set that standard, and if you cannot respect your own standard, nobody else is going to do so for you. And nobody else is going to do so to you. It has been the case with me that whenever I've set boundaries, I've had people that try to cross those boundaries, and immediately I know that those are narcissistic people, or that they're highly codependent and not healthy. Other times when I set boundaries and people respect them, then I am under the understanding that this is a person that is likely not going to try to destroy anything that I build. Because people that are codependent, even though they may not be narcissistic, they can still be toxic. They can still be a destruction and a liability to what you're building, opposed to a asset. And as a lion, as a lion, if you're going to be a lion out here, you need assets. You need territory of some kind. You need to be able to stand your ground and hold your ground and be willing to walk away if the situation is not fit for you, if you are not compatible with the situation. Now, I've had some times where I don't think that I'm compatible with people or in a situation, and down the line things change, and that's because it's just a different situation altogether. It's a different thing. There's new values and opportunities being created. But ultimately what you want to become is untamable through the pursuit of providing something of value. Because if you're going to be someone, if you're going to be a lion that acts like a hyena, you're not a lion. You're not. It's more about how you handle yourself and how you handle difficult situations. I've noticed that because of my calm composure in almost any situation, I can still feel the emotions of things. I can still feel what's going on. I can still feel the tension, but it's nowhere near as pressurizing or anxiety provoking. I've noticed that when I'm in situations that are tense, I can almost make the other person feel at ease just by myself being at ease. And that's the kind of quality that you must have if you are to thrive in this society. If you cannot have calmness as a default mode network for your biological computer, you are going to be in a rude awakening of a life down the line. You're going to be filled with depression or anxiety. You're going to be filled with living in the past or the future, because that's really what anxiety and depression is, right? Depression is when you're living in the past, and anxiety is when you're living too much in the future and you're thinking about the what ifs of everything. And I've noticed also that a lot of the times men struggle more with depression than women, and women struggle with anxiety more than men. And the reason for that is, as I've mentioned in other videos, is that the masculine heals when he heals from the past, and he heals from everything in his past going forward. And the feminine is healing when she stops trying to live in the future. So when the masculine stops living in the past and the feminine stops living in the future, and they both meet together in the present moment, that's when the sparks can really happen. That's when things can be really creative. And so there's one thing I want to touch on with what I said about the women, the 10 to 20 women that were super smart that I've met. Because I met some of them at college, and some of them I've met at the gym. Not the one that I'm currently going to, but years ago. And I also there was one woman in high school that I remember. She was like on the softball team. She was an actress, like she was in the drama club or whatever. She had like straight A's. She knew multiple languages. She was just like that girl, right? She was the it girl. She just had that it factor about her. And she was still very humble. But then she went to college. And I don't know exactly what happened in college. We never did keep touch after I saw her in high school. But, and we never like were intimate or anything, but there was definitely something there, but neither of us ever acted on it. And it was more like a brother and sister thing, I guess you could say. It was more like a brother and sister thing. And it was, it was definitely like close. Like we were close, but there was never that thing beyond it. And the reason for that was just because I knew that she had these certain kinds of dreams, and she was a very busy person, and so was I at the time. I was playing tennis. I was I was trying to do my own thing. Like I had my own family that I was trying to help out, and we were moving and such. Like it was just I was also in theater as well. So there's just a lot going on. And that's what we had in common, though. What we had in common was this striving for more. Even though I never really wanted to fully commit to it, I still tried to strive. Even though I never committed to the striving when I was younger, I didn't really start committing to really be better until a few years ago. It was when I was spiritually awakened 5 years ago when I started to like wake up to, literally and figuratively, to what's going on in the world and with me as well. But it wasn't until about 3.5 years ago when I started to really take myself a little bit more seriously. And that was when I also realized how much I lacked responsibility. I had a lot of drive in my younger years. I had a lot of drive, but what I lacked was discipline and responsibility. And so anyway, after college, this woman who I hadn't seen or talked to for years and years and years, one day she popped up on it was one, what was it, Facebook or something? It was before I deleted Facebook. So it must have been 3 or 4 years ago. No, 4 years ago, yeah. And she popped up on Facebook, and she was not the same person. She became overweight. She didn't finish school. She didn't finish college. And it didn't look like she had like a good job or anything lined up. And it was hard to see. It was hard to watch. It was hard to see this recommended friend, right? Because that's what Facebook does, is give you these recommended friends or suggestions or whatever. At least that's what they did. I haven't been on Facebook for a long time, but anyway, and that's what happened, and that's what I saw, and I thought to myself at the time, wow, that's wild. And I too was overweight at the time, and I I started to almost see my reflection. It was like I started to see my reflection. And that was like a building block in my spiritual journey to become more healthy. I realized that I want to continue to be the person that I was, but with more discipline, but with more striving for excellence, because people are not going to take you seriously if you don't take yourself seriously. They really will not. And this is another thing I've noticed. When I started to really believe that I was the man and I'm going to run my own household, I'm going to make sure that I know as much as I can and I have acquired as many skills as I can so that I become the least trashable person. Because a lot of the times people are not going to see what you really have available, and it's going to be like people will take you for granted. And I kind of like being overlooked sometimes for that reason. It's because I can subtly and secretively, almost, it's not even secretively, it's just a subtle conscious push that in through my words and actions that, yeah, I'm smarter than I let off. And it's not because I want to appear mysterious or anything, or I want to appear pompous. It's just more like I don't need to prove anything. I know I don't, because only fools will try to prove anything. It's what's that song? There's a song, I think it's Bob Dylan. Isn't it Bob Dylan's All Along the Watchtower? Only a fool will try to prove something. Maybe it's not that song. I know it's Bob Dylan, but anyway, the point is that when you realize you have nothing to prove, because one day your life is going to be something that you never thought it was anyway. That's when you can continually strive to improve. When you realize there is no finish line, when you realize that you can always be better. That's a gift. Like, that's a gift, man. That's not a curse. That's a gift. And a lot of the times people mistake that for a curse. And I'm here to tell you that that's not. It's like it goes back to the lion metaphor that we were talking about earlier. It's like you're given this gift to be a lion, people telling you to be a house cat. You realize you're a lion and you think that that's a bad thing. Hell no. You're a lion. So get the fuck out there and make shit happen. And with that being said, I hope this message was informative, useful, and insightful. Until next time, peace be with you.